Greetings, what's up, how you doing, and what's new? My name is Drew. I am here at the Goulet Pen Company to talk to you today about this ink. It's an exciting one because it is a new version of an old favorite. This is X-Feather Blue by Noodlers. We've had X-Feather for a while. It's one of Noodler's more popular inks. It's kind of among their line of blacks, which all Noodler's blacks are really great. But this one specifically, and its predecessor, or not really predecessor, but X-Feather Black, are specially formulated to resist feathering. Now, what's feathering, you might ask? It is a instance that occurs when you have fountain pen ink soaking into paper that may not be the perfect choice for fountain pen ink, such as a generic composition notebook or perhaps a not so fountain pen friendly paper. Now, I will say I was surprised by both of these. I gave them both a shot, and I used X-Feather Blue along with some other inks that traditionally were more feather prone, like Noodler's Base Date Blue, as you'll see here. So taking a close look, you'll see that the that Base Date Blue here, if I can get this thing to focus. Let's zoom in. Sorry about that. All right. So Base Date Blue, which is below, and obviously Noodler's X-Feather there above, had some feathering happening. So you can see that Base Date has this kind of splintery effect as it bleeds into the paper, whereas X-Feather does not. The lines are nice and smooth. You'll notice that it is not quite as blue as Base Date, but what is? And there are others that did surprisingly well on the moleskin paper as well. So you'll see a little bit here and there. With 54th Massachusetts, you'll see that where the ink is more saturated, some feathering did occur. So there are plenty of inks that you can use, like Diamine Wild Strawberry, for instance, did just fine. Diamine Apple Glory did okay. And Private Reserve Spearmint did all right. So there are other inks that will do the job, but X-Feather is specifically designed to do that one purpose and look good while doing it. Going to the Mead Composition Notebook, again, not super terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but also not ideal either. You did get some feathering. More so than the moleskin, you got a flattening of the colors. So it didn't feather quite as much, but it definitely did absorb very, very quickly. And that's what paper that's not, formulated for fountain pens does. You'll see Base Date was definitely very feathery. Apple Glory and Lexington just kind of flattened out right there. And Spearmint did a funky thing also. But X-Feather Blue, very crisp, very smooth lines. So that's what it's for. And if you are in a position where you are either working in an office and you might not be able to just have it your way with your paper at all times, something like this is a handy thing to have in your fountain pen arsenal. It's also permanent, which is an added bonus. Noodlers does make some pretty permanent inks, and this supposedly is one of them. So I'm pretty much making sure that this ink does what it does. It's part of my job here at the Goulet Pen Company, which is why I am just recording these videos on my phone for you, but I do have to look at some of this stuff and make sure it does its job. So right now with you, I'm going to test a little bit of permanence here between the original X-Feather Black and X-Feather Blue by taking some drops of water. And why did this just turn yellow? Come on. Apologize for that, guys. So let's just take a blob there, take a blob there. And we're just going to see how it does. Already, I can see a little bit of the X-Feather Black starting to bleed right there. And the blue looks like it's doing okay. Both of these I wrote with a dip pen not too long ago, maybe, 2 hours ago. So already the X-Feather looks like it's pulling up a little bit of the ink. The X-Feather Blue actually looks like it's performing quite a bit better. So let's pretend I'm doing an ink wash here and, So I doubt that any of this is actually going to go away forever. The X-Feather Blue, actually much, much better. That's pretty impressive. So the deal with water resistance, in terms of fountain pen ink anyway, is that it means just that. It's water resistant. So some inks are going to be pretty much waterproof, meaning it's going to look the same covered in water or washed. And then some inks, water resistance means simply that one or more component within that ink is going to remain and be waterproof. So It might mean that a blue ink becomes like a gray ink, but it will stay there. It won't dissipate entirely. So that's, generally what you're going to get out of that. We can go ahead and swab it up too. So I can, with my phone, it's not going to be the most ideal color corrected scenario. So you might want to get a closer idea of what the color might look. So we're going to go ahead, saturate a cotton swab for you real quick, and really put a ton of ink down on a paper that is absolutely not absorbent at all. So you've got your papers like the composition notebook and the moleskin that are going to be on the more absorbent side. Tomoe River is quite the opposite of that. So it is a very dark blue. I'm sorry, my phone's doing this yellowy thing. Let me get the light a little bit better. There we go. Sorry about that. So if you want, obviously, a much better color representation, our photographers do a great job with this. So any website you're going to see on, any picture you're going to see on the website is going to be very, very accurate. We have a pretty painstaking process on getting color accuracy happening on our website. So if you want a very, very close representation, you can go on our website. You can actually also use the swab shop to compare this blue to a blue you might be familiar with to get a really good idea. But there it is. X-Feather Blue or Anti-Feather Blue or Anti-Fascist Blue. It's got a couple different names, but we're going to call it X-Feather Blue because that's what folks know. And if you've been writing with Noodlers for a while or any fountain pen ink for a while, you might be familiar with X-Feather. So I think that we can conclude that X-Feather performs just as well, if not better, than the standard black X-Feather. So hopefully that was helpful to you. If you have any questions, again, check out the product page. Thank you for stopping by, and hope to see you soon.